The difference between partial mobilization and general mobilization is quite small, human rights activists say, and in the case of Putin's mobilization, they will recruit everyone who comes to hand. That is, each man of military age in Russia runs the risk of going to the front line if he does not have time to escape from the country, and this, experts say, means a huge reduction in qualified personnel. Enterprises where one person performs several functions at once will suffer at first. According to the Russian entrepreneurs, in the coming weeks almost all small and medium-sized businesses will begin to close up.
Крупняк это все может заместить.
Big business can manage the situation. It can somehow replace someone else with women, children, and so on. It can refuse completely from some functions, while small and medium-sized businesses cannot refuse anything. Therefore, mobilization will affect small and medium-sized businesses in the first place. Another thing is that this does not mean that huge unemployment immediately arises, because the process of making a decision, let's say, in closing enterprises will last, well, at least for 3 months. With his own hands, Putin has created an unprecedented economic crisis. Now for each mobilized man there will be a few men who will prefer to lay low. And at first, such a decision will be made by the most developed and wealthy men. This means that for a large category of people, both productivity and consumption will drop sharply. This will make Russian economy very unstable and in the long term lead to its serious recession.
Кількість людей, яка
The number of people who will stop working or leave on a territory, namely, they create the entire Russian economy, which will shrink. This number will constantly increase. Here it is clear that those Russians who will not be caught up are the most efficient category of the population. And therefore, when they leave or are partially mobilized, this is most strongly reflected in the economy, which is concentrated on the extraction of resources. This is not a service economy like in the European Union, where the labor productivity of women and men is almost identical. The economy is getting worse because of Russian parliament, which has given the right to the mobilized men not to pay loans. It is now impossible to make specific predictions because of the unpredictable actions of the Kremlin. However, economists agree that the collapse of the entire system will not happen right now. It is more likely that there will be a relatively quick transition to a mobilization economy, mass business, bankruptcy, and a decrease in incomes of population. Furthermore, the announced mobilization forces even those companies that did not leave after the invasion began to leave the Russian market.
Якщо ви лишаєтесь безпосередньо,
If you stay on the territory of Russia, pay taxes to the budget, you will finance the war. You are creating a global threat. Your reputation must be at zero. Your assets must be sold in a timely manner, because this is a serious challenge for you, and companies make decisions accordingly. Mobilization is a serious challenge for them, and now, just as they did in March, they are curtailing their activities. Thus, in terms of the economy, demography, the crime situation, and the quality of life in general, the 2020s will become even more severe for Russia than the notorious 1990s. Analysts say now the Russian authorities make it clear to the Russians that their interests are not important at all. Reported by Pavlo Stelmach, Valeria Nikipilova, UATV News.